Years ago, almost to the day, Eamon Murphy and his brother John were killed in an avalanche. But it's another tragic reminder that the dangers found in this rugged landscape can never be completely eliminated. David Maxwell, BBC Newsline.
The internationally recognised trade unionist and human rights campaigner Innes McCormack has died after an illness. The North Belfast woman was a founding member of the Fair Employment and Human Rights Commissions and was the first woman to become president of the Irish Congress of Trade Unions. During the Clintons' first visit to Ireland, the First Lady paid tribute to Innes McCormack's work. It was the beginning of an enduring friendship. She also advised the Irish President, Mary Robinson. The convicted double killer Hazel Stewart today abandoned one murder appeal and lost the other. She was jailed for a minimum of 18 years in 2011 for murdering her husband and the wife of her lover at the time. Conor Macaulay was in the court for today's hearing.
Hazel Stewart dropped her appeal against the conviction for the murder of her husband, but she pressed ahead and contested her guilt over the killing of her ex-lover's wife. The two victims, Trevor Buchanan and Leslie Howell, were killed to clear the way for a relationship between Stewart and her co-accused, Ballymoney dentist Colin Howell. Howell killed them and left them in a fume-filled car to make it look like suicide.
Jim Gallagher, QC for the defence, said the trial judge had been wrong to pose the question, were they in it together? Rather, he said the two killings should have been treated as separate entities. And when it came to the death of Leslie Howell, the judge should have asked the question, what had Hazel Stewart known, or how had she facilitated or encouraged that killing? The answer, he said, was that there was no evidence that she'd done either.
Hazel Stewart's children, her current husband and other members of her family, and that of her victims, were in the appeal court for what turned out to be a short legal hearing.
The case had been listed to last all day and was expected to do so, but around lunchtime the three appeal court judges said they were rising to consider their verdict. They were gone only a short time, and when they returned they said they had no reason to doubt the safety of Hazel Stewart's conviction.
Afterwards, Leslie Howell's daughter gave this reaction.
I'm relieved that justice has been maintained for my mum, and that's all I really want to say.
Hazel Stewart has been returned to Hydebank Prison. She must serve at least 18 years for the double murder before being considered for parole. Conor Macaulay, BBC Newsline.
It's tough going for drivers on many roads again tonight with more snow, particularly on routes heading south out of Belfast. In a moment we go live to County Down where we have a reporter on the ground. First, Ciara Riddell looks at how last Friday's worsening conditions have continued into another week.
As many woke up to a pretty picture, others battled their way through the treacherous conditions. Some just gave up and abandoned their cars. This was the scene on the rocky road in the Castlereagh Hills shortly after rush hour this morning. The heavy snow on higher ground forced some schools in counties Antrim and Down to shut, a welcome day off for some. It also caused travel disruption as TransLink cancelled some bus services and airport passengers were held up because of the knock-on effect from the icy conditions here and across the UK.
Well, in our family, the children love to see snow. I just like to see springtime coming. But look, it's been difficult when it's at your own airfield, but when it affects snow right across the United Kingdom, then it becomes a major challenge for airlines, for airports, and most of all for passengers, who is a wildly frustrating experience at times.
Some areas have escaped the snow so far, but with the Met Office warning of further showers tonight, there could be more disruption ahead. Ciara Riddell, BBC Newsline.
Well, as we came on air, we got reports of bad road conditions and tailbacks in Lisburn and Ballymena. It's particularly bad in the Saintfield area of County Down. Our reporter Mervyn Jess was among the commuters trying to get home. He's at Knockbracken on the outskirts of South Belfast. And Mervyn, conditions are pretty bad there.
Yes, they are, Donna. As you can see, the snow is still falling. In fact, it's been falling for most of the day. This place here in the Knockbracken Hills has actually been in the deep freeze since last Friday when the snow first fell, and there's up to a foot in places around here, and the roads, you can see, have been covered yet again over the past hour with this snow falling around us. In fact, we were on our way up the Saintfield Road going towards where there was reports of jackknifing vehicles and also cars and ditches, and we couldn't actually get out of the city because of the traffic jammed at the Saintfield Road, Knockbracken crossroads. So we actually came off and ended up here ourselves. But of course, it's not all bad news. While the motorists are having to endure it, the kids are enjoying it. Perhaps you can hear them over my shoulder here throwing snowballs. Earlier on today, they were coming down a nearby golf course here on sleighs and making snowmen. And also, people were out walking their dogs in the snow and enjoying the scenery as they did so. But it's been tricky underfoot as well for pedestrians because of the snow lying on the frozen footpaths. There's been the odd little twist and tumble here and there, but no reports of anybody being badly injured or anything like that. Having said that, the problems have still been the traffic, mainly trying to get out of Belfast to get up into the country areas. That has been a major headache for motorists, and in fact it was bumper to bumper and practically a standstill on some of those major routes out of the city this afternoon. But here at the minute, as you can see, snow still falling, and will probably continue to do throughout the night while the children are out making the best of it.
Yes, they're having a good time. Be careful there, Mervyn. Now, with the landscape covered in all that white stuff, it is a good opportunity to take out the camera. Joe Scott has been taking a look at some viewers' pictures. Joe.
Indeed, Donna. For some, snow brings hours of pleasure building snowmen or sledging. For others, it's a nightmare with treacherous road conditions and disruption. Some cars not getting anywhere fast this afternoon in Mollusk, as you can see. But 10 out of 10 for these very eager pupils at Newton Hamilton earlier. I'll have more on the weather forecast very shortly for you. Donna.
Facebook has told BBC Newsline that it has not seen any evidence that its social media website is being used to coordinate violence surrounding the Loyalist flag protests. Earlier, a Belfast court ordered 2 sites to be closed over death threats. As Julian O'Neill reports, weekend flag demonstrations passed off without serious incident. But there were signs of a different approach by the police.
The protests are now into their 8th week. But is what happened in Carrick evidence of the beginning of a new approach? First, there was a warning about the wearing of masks.
Legislation is enforced at the minute in relation to that, and it is an offence to cover your face at this time.
Then, protesters were moved from the road, allowing traffic to flow unhindered. The PSNI distributed a leaflet in Carrick spelling out the law. To remain legal, it said, it is important that you do not block roads